Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees. So today, I guess we are with just last 2 days pending for this Karthik month to get over, and today is the one second, I'll just share the screen. So we started with the theme for the Karthik month was Yogam. How do we reconnect with Supreme Lord Krishna? So Prabhupada translates this Yogam means science of reconnecting, connecting with the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So we had 5 processes which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended. One is, first is Sadhu Sangha, second Nama Kirtan, Bhagavata Sharana, Mathura Vas, and Shrivid deity worship. So today we are in the deity worship, last part. So before we start, we'll just start with this beautiful prayer. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this in this part today, there's a beautiful pastime that how deities, Lord, how Lord was eager to receive a devotee, and in fact the Lord stole sweet rice for that devotee. So imagine the Lord, stealing is a most abominable activities in this material world, but you can imagine for devotees the Lord even stole sweet rice. So this is a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 4th chapter. Yasmin datum chorayam shira bandham gopinata shira chora bhido abhud Shri Gopala pradhurasit vashai san yat premna tam madhavendram nato asmi. One second, I'll just share one. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Shri Gopinatha, celebrated throughout thereafter as Shira Chora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's pure love, Shri Gopala, the deity at Govardhana, appeared to the public vision. So this is a verse. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, the great devotee, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Srila Gopinatha. So this is a place called Remuna. It's in Odisha, Baleshwar. And there is a nice pastimes of Shira Chura Gopinath. So we'll narrate this pastime, how this manifolds. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's a beautiful pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. He wanted to go to Vrindavan, but Nityanand Prabhu and all, they tricked him. So So Lord was eager to go to Vrindavan, but he traveled towards Puri side. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Shantipur, where he met his mother Sachi Mata and took permission from him that Sachi Mata requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that please reside in Jagannath Puri so that I'll get all information about your well-being and what's happening and all. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling to Puri. So this comes in a very beautiful way in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna mantra, with great eagerness. Each day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to the village and collected great quantity of rice and other grains for the preparation of prasad. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to collect large quantity of grains and all, and that prasad was distributed to everyone. And there were, because while traveling in those days, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to cross many rivers. In Odisha there are lots of rivers, ponds and all. So, and each place there's a tax collector. So he has to pay some money. Just like road tax, toll tax we pay, the same way before crossing any river, they has to pay some tax. So there were many rivers on the way, and each river there was a tax collector. They did not hinder the Lord, however, he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. So that's the place where Lord came. So the deity of Gopinath in the temple at Remuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the feet of Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So because Lord is in very ecstatic mode, and the deities they showered their mercy by that garland and helmets falling. When the deity of helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. So all the servants of the deity were struck with wonder. So the pujaris and all, they were struck with wonder what type of deity has come. With wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his executive beauty and his transcendental qualities. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways. So that pujaris and all, they served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in many ways. And then Lord stayed in that temple overnight. And the Lord was eager to receive one special remnant. Usually in that temple, there was a special sweet rice was offered. The Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnant of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity. Having heard a narration from his spiritual master Ishwarapuri of what had once happened there. So there's a pastime which happened. The deity was known widely as Shirachora Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotee the story how the deity became so famous. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this story from his spiritual master Ishwarapuri. So once Madhavendra Puri is a great sannyasi in our parampara. It's like this love of Godhead was manifest in his heart. So usually our sampradaya is like Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Madhavendra Puri's spiritual master was Lakshmipata Tirtha. So he was from Madhva Sampradaya. So Madhavendra Puri had a ecstatic love for Krishna, and that's where the seed was grown. So Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in ecstasy for love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up, sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in proper place or not. So that was his symptom. He was in always ecstatic mood for Krishna's love and all. He was not worried about material things. He was fully dependent on Krishna. After circumambulating the hill, so he reached Vrindavan, Govardhan hill. And Madhavendra Puri went to Govinda Kund and took his bath. He sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. So Madhavendra Puri is a sannyasi in the Paramahamsa stage, very advanced level. So there are 4 stages of sannyasa. So one is called like Kutichaka. So Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivarkacharya and Paramahamsa. So Prabhupada very nicely explains about each stage. According to Vedic system, when one accepts the renounce order, he stays outside his village in a cottage, and his necessities, especially his food, are supplied from home. This is called Kutichaka. So usually in initial stage, he stays outside. It's just like a Vanaprastha, where he goes out of the village, he goes out of his family circle, and he stays outside. And all his necessities are supplied by his home, his relatives and parents. When a sannyasi further advances, he no longer accepts anything from home. Instead, he collects his necessity, especially his food, from many places. This is called madhukari. So it's just like a bumblebee which collects sweet honey from each and every flowers. So this sannyasi, next stage, he collects from every house, little by little. So that is called bahudaka, madhukari. Yeah. Then further he advances. So when a sannyasi is still more advanced, he travels all over the world to preach the glories of Lord Vasudeva. He is then known as Parivarkacharya. The sannyasi, so the next stage is traveling all over the world, and he preaches the glories of the Lord. And at the last stage is called Paramahamsa stage, when he finishes his preaching work and sit down in one place, strictly for the sake of advancing in spiritual life. An actual Paramahamsa is one who completely controls his senses. So Prabhupada very nicely defines the words. Paramahamsa means who can control his senses and engages in unalloyed service of the Lord. Therefore, he engages in the unalloyed service of the Lord and controls his senses. It is called Paramahamsa stage. So Madhavendra Puri was in that level of stage. When he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown coward boy. So Madhavendra Puri was seated beneath a tree, just like a small tree in Vrindavan, in the Govardhana hill. An unknown coward boy came with a pot of milk and placed it before Madhavendra Puri, smiling, and addressed him as follows. So Madhavendra Puri used to follow a strict vow of tapasya. He would not eat anything unless somebody gives. So he'll not beg. He'll not go like madhukari or nothing. He'll do nothing. Somebody gives, he will take, or else he'll not take. That day he'll fast. So that level he was following. So you can see Shri Radha Damodar ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So when he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet word, he forgot all hunger and thirst. So he saw that beautiful boy who bought milk pot. Madhavendra Puri said, "Who are you? Where did you reside? Now how did you know that I was fasting?" The boy replied, "Sir, I am a coward boy and reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts." So he is giving the definition of it. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. So some people drink only milk, but if person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatable. So the boy was saying that if suppose you don't beg, then I'll supply, don't worry. The women who came here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. The boy continued, "I must go very soon to milk the cow, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you." Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked towards the path, but the boy never returned. Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And at the end of the night, he dozed little, and his external activities stopped. So everything is stopped. In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw a very same boy. The boy came before him and holding his hand took him to the bushes in the jungle. So he just came in the dream and took him to bushes. The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bushes and said, I reside in these bushes. Because of this, I suffer very much from severe cold, rain shower, wind, and scorching heat. So the boy is giving the description. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of these bushes. Then have them situate me nicely on the top of a hill. So then the boy is requesting that you do this. Please construct a temple on the top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. For many days I have been observing you. So Lord is eagerly waiting for him. He is waiting his devotees when he will come. And I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? I accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. So that's the most important quality which we all have to develop. Love for the Lord. Then Lord will accept our service. Thus I shall appear, and by audience all fallen soul will be delivered. My name is Gopala. I am the lifter of Govardhana hill. I was installed by Vajra. And here I am the authority. So the same deities are worshipped in Nagdwara. The same, this Gopala deities are worshipped in Nagdwara. They are called Srinathji. So this was Vajra is a great grandson of Lord Krishna. So he had carved the deities and he installed in Vrindavan. So when the Muslim attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in the bushes in the forest, in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of attack. Since the priest went away, I have been staying in these bushes. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care. So since there was a Muslim invasions, the invaders were attacking Vrindavan and Govardhan side those days. So that deities was hidden in the bushes by the priest and he ran away. And the deities were there in that same spot. So then Madhavendra Puri began to lament, oh, I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. Madhavendra Puri cried for some times, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopala. Thus he became tranquil. So then because Lord is ordering him to bring him out, worship nicely. After taking his morning bath, Madhavendra Puri entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows. The proprietor of this village, Govardhana Dhari, is lying in the bushes. Let's all go there and rescue him from that place. The bushes are very dense. We will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore, take chopper and spades to clear the way. After hearing this, all the people accompanied Madhavendra Puri with great pleasure. According to his direction, they cut down the bushes, cleared the path, and entered the jungle. And they just excavated that area. And when they saw the deity with dirt and grass, they were struck with wonder and pleasure. So they saw the beautiful form of the Lord. After they cleansed the body of the deity, some of them said, the deity is very heavy. No one person can move him. Since the deity was very heavy, some of the stronger men assembled to carry him to the top of the hill. Madhavendra Puri also went there. A big stone was made into a throne. The deity was installed upon it. Another big stone was placed behind the deity for support. So they made a platform. All the Brahmana priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots, and water from Govindakund lake was brought there and filtered. So they brought water. They did Abhisheka ceremony. This is called Abhisheka ceremony. So when the deity was being installed, like we had installation ceremony, 900 pots of water were bought from Govindakund. 900. We were just around 50-60 pots. There was musical sound of beagles, drums, and singing of women. During the festival at the installation ceremony, some people sang, some danced. All the milk, yogurt, clarified butter in the village was brought to the festival. Various foods and sweetmeats as well as other kinds of presentations were brought there. I am unable to describe all this. So there was big festival altogether. The villager bought large quantities of tulsi leaves, flowers, various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhisheka bathing ceremony. After all inauspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantras, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with large quantity of oil so that his body become very glossy. After the first bathing, further bathing were conducted with Panchagavya and then with Panchamrita. Then the Mahasnana was performed with ghee and water, which had been bought in 100 pots. After the Mahasnana was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil and his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept within the conch shell. So there was like a Abhisheka process. How do we do? So that complete process was performed. After the body of the deity was cleansed, he was dressed very nicely with new garments. Then sandalwood pulp, tulsi garland and other fragrant flowers garland were placed upon the body of the deity. After the bathing ceremony was finished, incense lamps were burned and all kinds of food offered before the deity. This food included yogurt, milk and many sweetmeats as were received. So there was a lot of preparation and everything. This was like a grand festival. So after the last offering of Tambula, Pan, Bhoga Arti was performed, finally everyone offered various prayers and then obeisances, falling flat before the deity in full surrender. As soon as people of the village had understood that the deity was going to be installed, they bought their entire stock of rice, dal, wheat flour. They bought large quantities. That entire surface of the top of the hill was filled. So it was like a big Govardhan celebration. Like we had small Govardhan celebration. It was like that time it was massive Govardhan celebration. So there were 10 brahmanas cooked the food grain and the 5 brahmanas cooked both dry and liquid vegetables. So some brahmanas were employed. The vegetable preparations were made from various kinds of spinach, roots, fruits collected from the forest. Someone had made bada and vadi by smashing moong dal. We make vadi and all. In this way, the brahmanas prepared all kinds of food. And there was lots of chapatis, and so it was just like a Annakut festival. So there are lots of chapatis. It's just like a stack of rice, chapatis, sweets. In this way, Annakutta ceremony was performed and Madhavendra Puri personally offered everything to Gopala. Many water pots were filled with scented waters for drinking. Lord Sri Gopala, who had been hungry for many days, ate everything offered to him. So Lord was also very hungry at that time because he did not eat because he was in the bushes and all. So Lord also ate very nicely. Although Sri Gopala ate everything offered, still by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. So that's the most important. If Lord has eaten everything, then devotee would have not got any. So Lord is very merciful. So he eats also, but that food remains also. It does not vanquish. So Prabhupada very nicely writes this purport. How do Ms. Prabhupada explains how the Lord eats, how the deity, the Lord Radha Damodar, how he eats. The atheist cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in a deity form, can eat all the food offered by his devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachyate Tadaham Bhaktya Uparitam Asnami Prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9:26. The Lord is Purna, complete, and therefore he eats everything offered by his devotees. However, by the touch of his transcendental hand, all the food remains exactly as before. It is the quality that is changed. Before the food was offered, it was something else. But after it is offered, the food acquires transcendental qualities. Because Lord is Purna, he remains the same even after eating. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. The food offered to Krishna is qualitatively as good as Krishna, just as Krishna is avyaya, indestructible. The food eaten by Krishna, being identical with him, remains as before. So what is offered to Krishna remains same, but that adds on transcendental qualities. That's the reason before the food is offered and after it is offered, the taste changes. There's a satisfaction when you eat Mahaprasadam of the Lord. Or else if you eat outside food, there is no satisfaction. We feel something is lacking. Apart from this, Krishna can eat the food with any one of his transcendental senses. So it is said in Brahma Samhita, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. So Lord can perform his activity with any senses. Like with his eyes he can eat. With his hand he can do whatever activities. He can eat by seeing the food or by touching it. Nor should one think that it is necessary for Krishna to eat. He does not become hungry like an ordinary human being. Nonetheless, he presents himself as being hungry. As such, he can eat everything and anything, regardless of quantity. So if you go to Jagannath Puri, you will see lots of prasadam. Not just we offer small quantity. The Lord eats unlimited quantity. They are offered 56 times. And that quantity you will see, you will get bewildered. It's like a big hall filled with prasadam. The philosophy underlying Krishna's eating is understandable by our transcendental senses. When our senses are purified by constantly being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, we can understand Krishna's activities, names, qualities, pastimes and entourage. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhave grahayam indriya sevan mukhe hi jivato swayam eva spruhatyada. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses. We cannot understand with this limited senses. Our senses are always limited. We cannot see what's happening outside this. We cannot hear what's happening some distance. So there's a limitation in our body. But whereas Krishna is unlimited. No one can understand Krishna by the blunt material senses. But he reveals himself to the devotee, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. The devotees understand Krishna through revelation. It is not possible for a mundane scholar to understand Krishna and his pastimes through research work on the non-devotional platform. So we cannot understand Krishna by some research like they do, no? Inductive process. We can understand Krishna by detective process, top-down approach. It is like authority giving the answers to the questions. Further we'll see how Gopala ate everything while the food remained the same was transcendentally perceived by Madhavendra Puri Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the Lord, secret to the devotees of the Lord. So Madhavendra Puri understood how Lord has eaten, but we cannot understand because that level we have not reached. The wonderful festival and the installation of Sri Gopalji was arranged in one day. So this whole thing happened just in one day. The excavation of the deities, the installation, the Abhishekam ceremony, offering of so much Annakut is completed just in one day. Certainly all this accomplished by the potency of Gopala. No one but the devotee can understand. Madhavendra Puri offered water to the Gopala for washing his mouth. He gave him betel nuts to chew. Then while Aarti was performed, the people chanted, Jai Jai, Jai Jai. The temporary temple was constructed by covering the bed all around with a straw mattress, and thus there were bed and straw mattress to cover it. And then after the Lord was laid down to rest on the bed, Madhavendra Puri gathered all the Brahmanas who had prepared prasadam and said to them, now feed everyone sumptuously, from children up to the aged. And then that Mahaprasadam was distributed to everyone. Seeing the influence of Madhavendra Puri, all the people gathered there were struck with wonder. They saw that the Annakut ceremony, which had been performed before during the time of Krishna, was now taking place again by the mercy of Madhavendra Puri. All the Brahmanas present on that occasion were initiated by Madhavendra Puri into the Vaishnava cult, and Madhavendra Puri engaged them in different types of services. So then that was an initiation ceremony where Madhavendra Puri was personally giving initiation to those Brahmanas and initiated them to worship of Gopala deities. And this news spread all over the nearby places, like all nearby neighbors and all. So one village after another was pleased to beg Madhavendra Puri to allot them one day to perform Annakuta ceremony. So everyone was requesting Madhavendra Puri that I want to perform the same Annakuta ceremony. And thus day after day the Annakuta ceremony was performed for some time. The Madhavendra Puri did not eat anything throughout the day, but at night after laying down, after laying the deity down to rest, he took milk preparation. The next morning, the rendering of service to deity began again. People from one village arrived with all kinds of food grain. The inhabitants of village brought to the deity of Gopala as much food grains, ghee, yogurt, milk they had in their village. So there was a big celebration, and devotees used to bring lots of preparations. So I'll just go further. All the villages in the neighboring Vrajabhumi, Vrindavana, became aware of the appearance of Gopala. All the people from this village came to see him day after day. They all performed Annakuta ceremony. In this way, not only the neighboring village, but all the other province came to know of Gopala's appearance. And thus, people from all over bringing variety of preparation. People of Mathura, who were big capitalists, also brought various presentation, offered them before the deity in devotional service. And some kings, they built big palaces. Like one very rich Kshatriya of the royal order constructed a temple. Someone made cooking utensils, and someone constructed boundary walls. So in that way, with great pomp and big festivity, how deity was installed. So here you can see how deities were eagerly waiting for Madhavendra Puri. So we also should develop that ecstatic love, that how we can serve Lord very nicely, free of all this contamination like lust, greed, anger. And further it defines that we should be free of puja, pratishtha, labha. So that all are called like a weed which hinders our devotion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that bhakti is just like a small creeper. It has to be protected. It's just like if you do Vaishnava aparad, there's one big offense we do. We blaspheme other devotees or something. So that's a dangerous for devotional life. It will destroy that creeper. It's just like a mad elephant entering the beautiful garden. Suppose you have worked hard so much, building so many rose plants, trees, small beautiful plants, flower-bearing plants. But a mad elephant enters there and it destroys everything. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very nicely, in fact, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Apani Acharya Prabhu Jivere Sikaya. By his own example, Lord teaches others. So further, there are many pastimes of these deities. Like Madhavendra Puri, personally, the Lord once again came in his dream and requested him that my body is not cool till now. Try to get some sandalwood from Puri, Purushottam Kshetra, from Jagannath Puri. So then Madhavendra Puri wakes up and he first executes that order. Sometimes some service is given to us, we try to neglect it. We think, okay, wo to mandir ka chalta rahega seva. But no, we have to give high preference to that. Just you can see how eager Madhavendra Puri was to serve the Lord. He just woke up, and in fact, to get that sandalwood, there was a big hindrance. In those days, there was Muslim rulers were there. They will not allow. He should have all papers, documents and all. So Madhavendra Puri went to that place. He went to the Purushottam, that Kshetra, and requested the king that I want sandalwood. And the king delivered it him. And he gave 2 men also who can carry him. He personally carried around, it said like around some 20 tolas or something of sandalwood. It's just like 8 or more than 10-15 kgs of sandalwood. Personally carried from for long distance to serve for Lord. and he was eager to serve. And in dream, the Lord was also concerned. So Lord was very concerned that he's going through some places where there is a hindrance, like some invaders may attack and all. So Lord had come in his dream and he told, you just stop in this place, some Remuna, and you apply the same chandlewood to that same Lord. And just so it's a I for when Madhavendra was I just forgot to tell the story of how Shridhar Gopinath became so famous in that process. So when Madhavendra came to that place called Remuna, so there he was waited. He was just seated. He had nice darshan of the Lord, and then at night he saw that beautiful darshan, and he saw that Lord is offered a beautiful sweet rice. So he thought, okay, if I can see that, then I can also make same preparation for our Lord in Gopala. So then this was noticed by Lord is Paramatma, he knows what's happening. So Lord, what he did before closing the altar, when that sweet rice was offered, he kept one pot aside, 2-3 pot aside. So Lord Shridhar Gopinath, the Lord Gopinath kept one pot of sweet rice aside. At once the temple offering was going on, so priest came out, and just like now we offer milk, so priest comes out. So Lord hide it in his below his leg or some other location, and the priest closed the altar. And at night, Lord came to the dream, in the dream of a priest, and he told, see, I have stole one sweet rice which is kept just opposite to my leg. So you just wake up and take that sweet rice and deliver to this devotee. So this priest was shocked that how can Lord do this? Then he took his bath. So he took his bath, and then he went to altar. He went to the temple hall, and he saw there was a sweet rice. So then he was very stuck with wonder how Lord had stole this sweet rice for that devotee. So in the dream, the Lord had come that just delivered to Madhavendra Puri, who is in the marketplace. So the priest just bought that sweet rice, and he went to market. That, oh Madhavendra Puri, where are you? Oh priest, oh that devotee, where are you? The Lord has stole sweet rice for you. Where are you? So then he was seated in the marketplace. Then he delivered that. He thought, you are most fortunate that Lord has stolen a sweet rice for you. Then Madhavendra Puri took that and he relished that, and then he went away from that place. He did not stay there because he was very fearful that morning this news will spread all over and people will start glorifying, oh, Lord has stolen your great devotee, your great devotee. So we should also not hanker for some pratishtha. Oh, I did this service, everybody should glorify me. I am doing so much cleaning work, that work. No, that's not the Vaishnava's attitude. He should be meek and humble. He should not hanker for adoration, that oh, somebody should recognize, then only I'll do service. No, that should not be the quality of a devotee. He should not unnecessarily take this adoration, because it may hinder his devotional service. He may become puffed up, proud. Then he'll be in that stage where somebody should glorify, then only he will do service. Or else he will not do service. He'll be very dull. Oh, nobody glorified me. Nobody encouraged me. Oh, then I'll be. You can just see the example of Madhavendra Puri, how he went away. He did not stay there. The Brahmana priest said, in the evening the deity is offered sweet rice in 12 earth pot, because the taste is good as the nectar, amruta. It is called amruta keli. They call it as amruta keli. This sweet rice is celebrated throughout the world as Gopinath Shira, and it is not offered anywhere else in the world. When Madhavendra Puri was talking with the Brahmana priest, the sweet rice was placed before the deity as an offering. Hearing this, Madhavendra Puri thought as follows: if without asking a little sweet rice is given to me, I can then taste it and make a similar preparation to offer my Lord Gopala. Madhavendra Puri became very greatly ashamed, because he was very ashamed. when he desired to taste the sweet rice, and he immediately began to think of Lord Vishnu. While he was thus thinking of Lord Vishnu, the offering was completed and the Aarti ceremony began. After the Aarti was finished, Madhavendra Puri offered his obeisance to the deity and then left the temple. He did not say anything more to anyone. Madhavendra Puri avoided begging. He was completely unattached and indifferent to material things. If without his begging, someone offered him some food, he would eat. Otherwise, he would fast. I'll just go down. Finishing his daily duties, the priest went to the take rest. In the dream, he saw Gopinath deity came to talk to him, and he spoke as follows: "O priest, please get up and open the door of the temple. I have kept one pot of sweet rice for sannyasi Madhavendra Puri. This pot of sweet rice is just behind my cloth curtain. You did not see it because of my trick." The sannyasi named Madhavendra Puri is sitting in the vacant marketplace. Please take this pot of sweet rice from behind me and deliver it to him. Awakening from his dream, the priest immediately rose from the bed and thought it wise to take the bath before entering the deity room, and then he opened the temple door. According to the deity's direction, the priest found the pot of sweet rice behind the cloth curtain. He removed the pot and mopped the place where it had been kept. He then went out the temple. Closing the door of the temple, he went to the village with the pot of sweet rice. He called out in every stall in search of Madhavendra Puri. Holding the pot of sweet rice, the priest called, "Will he whose name is Madhavendra Puri please come take this pot? Gopinath has stole this pot of sweet rice for you." Hearing this invitation, Madhavendra Puri came out and identified himself. The priest then delivered the pot of sweet rice and offered his obeisances, falling flat before him. The priest offered his obeisances to Madhavendra Puri and returned to the temple. Then in ecstasy, Madhavendra Puri ate the sweet rice offered him by Krishna. Thinking this, Madhavendra Puri offered his obeisances to Gopinath on the spot and left before morning. So he left that place. So this is a beautiful pastime of how Lord Gopinath, Lord became famous of Shirchor Gopinath, how deity enacts different pastimes for seeing the ecstatic love of the devotees. So today I'll end with this. Tomorrow we'll continue beautiful pastimes of the Lord. Shri Radha Gopinath ki